Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm in a static car today, not going anywhere, so I thought it might give me the opportunity to give you some further insight into some of the things that you've been asking me about, specifically within the interior, within the engine bay, within the boot, and the space in the back as well. So first thing to ask is that, or to say is that I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and yeah, living with these changing times and difficult circumstances. But hopefully this video will give you some sort of respite from all that we've got to contend with at the moment. To say I'm looking forward to driving this car more is a bit of an understatement, actually. I know a lot of you have been asking about the max mile per hour the car can do in EV only mode. I'm looking to test that out as well. I'm also looking to do a fuller range test on the car compared to my last video. I want to take it the full 35 miles of indicated range that it is saying it will do, and basically test whether it can do that range or not. In the cabin, it's a very nice place. I think I've said this a few times before on certain posts as well, that yeah, there's a lot to like about this cabin. I particularly like the center console. It's particularly simple and a big difference from the previous car I owned, the Peugeot 5008. The infotainment system, very easy to use. The air conditioning control is very easy to use. And I'm a big fan of some of the specs, particularly to the ST Line X, the heads-up display, and yeah, the various. It's just quite intuitive and quite ergonomic in here. In the back of the car, I think it's a really nice space as well. You can see it's really airy in here. I've got the blind pushed back all the way, so you've got clear glass above the rear seats. And this seat is set to my particular driving height. I'm about 5'9", and as you can see, I've got pretty much plenty of space here between me and the driver's seat. Now these seats are pushed all the way forward. They do go forward and back quite a distance actually, but depending on how much space you want in the boot will dictate where you actually have your seats positioned. I know my kids definitely think there's enough space back here. We've talked about some of the other spec in here, such as the plug socket down here, which is certainly a surprise to me. You've got your center console here with two cup holders, which is quite nice to have, and then these head restraints go up a way as well, but not essential for my kids at the age they are. Plenty of storage in here in the back, and certainly the door pockets are pretty useful as well for holding cups and other bits and pieces. But all round, a pretty nice atmosphere in the back, despite the fact it's got a grey leather in here. There's nice, obviously, red stitching in here as well, which is nicely highlighted. But like I said, the main feature in here is the glass roof, which gives an air of space at least. Now, I thought I'd give you a full look at the SYNC3 menus and the various options within there as well. So if I start from the beginning, this is my main screen. The audio is off at the moment for fear of any kind of music contributing to the video, and my phone is disconnected, as you can see there as well. But behind that you've got navigation, and as soon as the car starts, those various audio off and connect to phone messages clear away to reveal the navigation. Now if I go ahead and click the audio button, it'll bring up a number of options there. So it's on radio at the moment. If I click the sources button, you've got DAB, which is digital radio here in the UK, and you've got the option to connect your Bluetooth audio as well. If I click phone, you've got an option to add a phone, and then you've got a number of phones added already on Bluetooth. And then if I click the navigation, you've got the main navigation view, and then you've got the various options along, which are pretty usual options within a navigation facility. And then you've got the mobile apps area, which I'm pretty sure is a better used connected to the internet. And then the power flow meter will show you the various animations which I've showed by photo previously and video previously, when the car's putting power back to the battery or using power from the battery. And then within settings, you've got your various settings across sound, clock, Bluetooth, phone, radio, driver assistance. You've got plenty of options in here. And you've got the My Key warning. And driver assistance lets you set settings for cruise control, speed limiter, lane keep assist, pre-collision assist, which is new to me. I found that out the other day. And then the traffic sign recognition. If I go up, you've got rear camera view, grade assist, and then you've got driver alert. If I go back out of settings and into vehicle, you've got a number of settings there, which you've got the length of time that the car will idle for. You've got your charge port light settings, and then you've got remote startup actions along your wipers, power, tailgate, blah blah blah. And then scroll across. As you can see, it's pretty responsive. I haven't had any issues with it, to be perfectly honest. And then you've got various other options along with your Apple CarPlay, which is standard on this car, and then your over-the-air updates when you're connected to Wi-Fi. And then you've got your charge settings, which I'm actually just going to change now because I did set it at 100%, but I want to set it back to 85%. So edit. And then I'm going to change it back to 85%, which I'm taking advice on from the various YouTube videos I've seen recently. And we'll go forward now charge the car to 85%, given it's not being used that often. So the schedule is fine because I'm charging the car. I want to be able to charge the car anytime I plug it in. So across a weekday and a weekend. So I'm going to save that, and that now should charge the car to a maximum of 85% of the capacity of the battery, which as I said is for just to extend the life of the battery while the car isn't being used that often. And having saved that, it brings up a nice animation of the battery as it stands now. Now, within the general button option, you've got various options regarding settings around the units you want to see your travel indicated in, and also your fuel economy. You've got your tire pressure units, language, and then you've got your various automatic system update settings as well. Now, one setting I did want to go back to was the pre-collision assist. This is part of the driver assistance package, and when the car is in cruise control and is in adaptive cruise control setting, if it does detect an obstacle in the road, it will engage active braking, but it will also engage evasive steering, so basically steer the car around an obstacle for you, and alert you in good time as well, so that as a driver you can take precaution if needed. But I think that's a very, very handy addition to the spec in the car. You've been asking to see the engine bay as well, so here you go. I guess they call this a power plant these days and not an engine anymore, because it's a mix of an electric motor and an internal combustion engine. But yeah, I'm trying to give you as much of a view of it as I can. It's a double click system from inside the car to open the bonnet, which is a much easier system in my view to operate. It saves faffing around for a lever under the bonnet. And yeah, you can see at the moment it's pretty clear, but the car has only done about 300 miles to date, so I expect this to not last for very much longer, at least in this state. Now, I may have said before that this car was purchased because of a number of features. One, essentially because it was a hybrid. I did want to go full electric, but just the options were limited at the budget I was looking at. So we did go hybrid. Second was we needed space for 3 kids. We looked at various options, one of them being the Mini Countryman, but the boot space just wasn't there. And I'm happy to report that the boot space in this car is quite substantial. You can see I'm standing about a foot from the car, and you can see the space is quite good. Even with the rear seats all the way back, the space is still quite good. If I lift up the bonnet, I've made mentions before of the fact that I didn't really know where to put the charging cable, and I've come up with a solution to wrap it round the spare wheel, and that's a pretty good solution, and it stops it from rattling around the boot. There is a little bit of space down the sides of the spare wheel, as you can see. Not an awful lot, but maybe for some, cans of oil or whatever it is, maybe that's what I can use that space for. But it's pretty compact in here. Now, I am going to be protecting this boot with a boot liner. I've got a 2-year-old Labrador and obviously 3 kids, and during the winter, as you probably know, boot spaces can get pretty mucky. So I bought a material-based boot liner, not a rubber-based boot liner just for the base of the boot, but a material-based boot liner which will protect the rear of the back seats, the sides and the base of the boot, but also essentially with a dog. The bumper here, I haven't got a bumper protector on it. I may invest in one, but for the moment I've got a boot liner that will come down over the bumper and allow the dog to get in and out without scratching the bumper. I'm only charging the car on the 3-pin cable that came with it, the Ford branded 3-pin cable that came with it. I've shown you images of previously. I'm not intending to charge the car from a wall box, at least until our other EV arrives, which is the Seat Me electric. That is arriving hopefully in the next month or so, and at that point we'll get a wall box installed, and it'll be mainly used for charging that car on a faster basis than the 3-pin cable. One issue I do have with the car though is the amount of warning sounds and displays that come up on the digital dashboard. I'll give you a look now, but there's quite a few that you have to press OK for just to clear the dashboard. They will go away of their own accord, but it does take some time, so have a look for yourself here. So as you can see there's seat belts, there's car ready to drive. If I click OK on the wheel, on the steering wheel, it eventually moves, and I've got a clear digital display with the various menu options on there. Before the video ends, I want to thank you all for the overwhelming support of my last video and the very, very positive comments you've given me. I'm so happy to receive them. I'm also very happy to see the engagement, specifically within the Ford Kuga PHEV group. That's very heartening to see. A lot of people putting up content, a lot of people engaging around it, asking questions, particularly people who haven't had their cars. I know a lot of you are waiting patiently, and hopefully within a couple of weeks we'll see a lot more people with a lot more cars, a lot of photos being shared, a lot of experiences being shared, and we can all take the benefit of that.